I've got rhythm in my soul. Can you feel it? Let your body move. Let your body move. What's up, wealth builders? Good morning. My name is Brian Davila, and we are about to do a free training with Ricky Carruth and Ryan Pineda. So this training is going to be teaching you how to start flipping, wholesaling, and buying rentals. It's going to be great. So make sure before I bring up Ricky that we go over and grab a pen and a piece of paper to take notes, because we're going to go over a lot of details that you need to learn. So for the people that don't know who I am, my name is Brian Davila. I actually used to be a real estate agent, right? I was a real estate agent. I used to do the open houses. I used to do the cold calling. I used to do all that fun stuff. And now I am a full-time real estate investor. So I actually went through this training 5 years ago, and it's what sparked me to transition from being a realtor to being a real estate investor. So what I would like to do before I bring up Ricky is figure out, where is everyone from? So if I could see the chat, that would be awesome, so I could see the comments. But I am in Las Vegas right now. Just to tell you a little bit more about me, I started as a realtor in 2015 in Las Vegas. And then in 2016, I met my wife and moved to California. Started off as a real estate agent out there. And then I remember on New Year's Day in 2018, I was depressed. I wasn't happy. I was making great money as a real estate agent. I was making about $500,000 a year as a real estate agent by myself. But I knew that that was not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to keep chasing around buyers and sellers. I didn't want to work on the weekends anymore. I didn't want to have to drive to houses all the time. I wanted to start taking control of my life and my time. So I stumbled across a guy named Ryan Pineda on Facebook. Reached out to him, told him how I was feeling about being a realtor. And at the time, he was flipping about 100 houses a year and making, north of $1 million. And that's what I wanted to do. So what I did is I hired him as a coach, and then went all in late 2019. By 2021, I was already making $1 million as a real estate investor. And honestly, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have the right knowledge and if I wasn't willing to change. So like I said, at the time, I was making a lot of money as a real estate agent, but I didn't have control of my time. And I knew as a real estate agent, the only way to make money is by going out and finding your next client. Where with investing, once you buy a rental property, that rental property is going to pay you for the rest of your life. Right. So I think Warren Buffett said, if you don't learn how to make money when you're sleeping, you will work until you die. And that is the truth. So if you're a real estate agent, it's very important for you to understand that you need to start owning real estate, right? You already know the process, but you don't know the process of how to own it yourself or flip it and make a huge chunk of cash. So I know last year, our average profit was about $50,000 for every flip. And I know right now at Ryan's company, they're doing creative finance strategies that they make more than $100,000 on certain transactions. And I know it's almost impossible to do that as a real estate agent, right? You would have to be selling $50 million homes or something like that, where we're doing this with your average median house in Las Vegas. So what I want to do now is bring up Ricky Carruth. Ricky Carruth is a real estate agent who absolutely crushes it. I know most of you guys know who he is, but he's going to come up and explain to you guys his journey from being just a real estate agent to being a real estate investor. So come up here, Ricky Carruth. Come crush it, baby. There we go.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us today on this 2-day Wealthy Investor Real Estate Investing Challenge. This is going to be incredible because we're going to challenge you to go out here and invest. Instead of just going out here as an agent and trying to make commissions, we want to open your mind up to the other possibilities that are right there in front of you. There's many, many reasons why I wanted to do this. And a lot of you know me as Ricky the agent, Ricky the coach, make $1 million a year as a single agent and stuff like that. But I haven't really went deep with a lot of you guys. I've touched on a little bit of my investing journey. And so that's what I really want to get into today, is more of the investing side, how it's completely changed my life, and why you need to be really thinking about the same thing. Because I'll tell you what the biggest mistake was for me, real estate investing wise, was not doing it sooner and being more aggressive. As of today, right here where we stand, I've flipped over 100 homes, probably closer to 150. I've got 31 rentals. It's around a $13 million portfolio. I've developed subdivisions. I've used hard money. I've bought things off MLS, direct from seller, driving for dollars. I've done just about anything, raising money, partners. I've done just about anything you can think of. So these are the things I want to get into today and share with you, so that you can take it. And I want to challenge you guys. This is a 2-day challenge to go out there and start building your rental portfolio. Start flipping houses when you see good deals. My very first broker, he said, and this was really early in my career. This was in the first couple weeks really of being a real estate agent. He said, you make a lot of money as an agent, but where the real money is made is when you're going along as an agent and you see a great deal and you buy that deal, either to flip, either to hold, whatever the case may be. When you look at real estate prices over the decades, they've done nothing but go up. Even if you bought at the very peak of the 2008, when prices were at their highest during that time, you're still a winner right this second. So these are some of the things I want to get into. I did a Twitter poll. and I did a YouTube poll. And I said, hey, real estate agents, how many of you own investment properties? I don't know if you guys participated in the poll or if you saw the results of the poll, but it showed anywhere between, I believe Twitter was 68% did not own investment properties. And this is the same consensus I see when I go and speak all over the country to agents. When I say, how many of you own investment properties? Nope, hardly anyone, right? Real estate agents are so focused on listings and sales. And that's the way you have to be really in the very beginning if you want to become a really great real estate agent. But you got to take that money and invest it into real estate. So we're going to get into a lot of the stuff. I want you guys to have your notebook ready. I'm going to be taking notes when I hear things, because Ryan's going to come up here later as well. And every single time that I'm around this group, the Wealthy Investor community, I pick up new ideas, new strategies, new things that I can take back to my business and implement to continue to build my portfolio. This is my end game, and this should be your end game. So let me tell you a little bit, let me go back and tell you a little bit about my story, and then I want to get into some more details here in terms of investing, the investing side of things for me, because back in 2002, when I got in real estate as an agent, I started flipping properties within the first year of being an agent, within the first year to year and a half. Okay. So it took me 8 months to make my first sale as an agent, started selling 2 a month. And after about 6 to 8 months of that, I took that money and I started flipping houses. And most of you that know my story, you know that when I came in, I was 21, I was 20. And by the time I was 23, I was a millionaire. And I've talked about this when I tell my story, right? Every once in a while, I'll throw in the fact that the real reason why I was a millionaire that quickly was from flipping houses. It wasn't from real estate commissions. I was making about $200 a year during those 2 years. 2003 and 2004 were the big years. I made about $200,000 a year those years, but I took that money and I flipped. That was a while ago. All right, but let me think back. I probably flipped 15 homes, and these weren't for small profits. Like right now, I'm right on track with what what these guys are doing in terms of about 50,000 per flip right now in this market. But back then it was more like 80, 100. We even had a couple that were 120, $150,000 profits. So back then, the market was escalating so much. You could throw a rock and hit a property and make money. But what you have to do is develop the skills where you can make money flipping, wholesaling, buying and holding in any market. And when the market crashed, of course, I lost everything, as most people did. Let me get a sip of water. As most people did, they lost everything during the crash. And so I had to go back. I had to reconfigure my entire situation. So my real estate investing journey up to that point was strictly flipping. Okay, now if you can imagine being a 20-year-old, 21, 22, making all this money, and then here's these opportunities where I could literally make 80,000 in a day, really. I would flip these properties in literally 2 days. Of course, it would take some time to close. So from me purchasing to close, like let's just say 3-month period, I'm making 120 grand, literally doing nothing. As a kid, I was like, okay, I consider myself a kid. You guys aren't 20 in here, are you? Like you're a child. So when you see those kind of opportunities that young, and you really don't understand the longevity and what it means to really build a real estate portfolio and build real wealth, I just kind of got caught up in that. And that's kind of why I lost everything. I was just caught up in short-term gains, and you have to diversify. If at that time, and this is what I want to make clear to you today, if you diversify your short-term moves in terms of flipping, wholesaling, etc., you diversify those moves with also buying long-term rentals, then you're really protected. If I would have been thinking long-term rentals as well as flips, instead of just let me make a lot of money right now, this quick money, easy come, easy go, then I would have been just fine, because I would have had the rentals to fall back on. You see, in hard times when the market gets tough, you have this massive portfolio of rentals, you've got something to fall back on. And I didn't have that. And that was one of the big reasons why I lost everything. And I had to go back to roofing houses, working on an oil rig, etc. So in 2008, guess what? I got back in as a real estate agent. And so when I get back in as a real estate agent, I'm just trying to sell. I'm not so interested in investing yet, but I'm interested in selling, because my entire goal and mindset was, let me go out here, represent buyers and sellers, make some commissions, put that money into real estate and start building this thing up again. But guess what? I'm going to do it right this time. I'm going to flip houses, but I'm also going to buy rentals, right? And I'm going to do this right. So sometimes, guys, we have to make huge mistakes to really learn what not to do. And so that's one mistake that I made that I want to share with you today, is to go out there and really think long term. Make this quick money. If you see an opportunity that you can flip and you can make 50 to 100,000, absolutely, let's take that. But let's also look for great cash flowing properties as well to build that long-term portfolio, because honestly, out of the 150 houses that I flipped, I honestly wish that I would have kept maybe the best 20. Because looking back, if I would have kept the best 20 of those properties, I'd be so much more wealthier right now. I would have so much cash flow right this second on top of what I already have, and still flipped the other 100 plus properties. Still made all the money on those other flips. I just wish I would have cherry picked the very best locations, the properties in the best, condition to keep for myself long term. Nevertheless, I get back in, I'm making commissions, and then I start buying. So the first property I bought, and this is a cool story. The very first property I bought coming back was a $68,000 condo that I lived in. I lived there for like a year. I moved out, I rented it, I bought another place. These were condos. The second condo I bought was a condo on the water with a boat slip. I had a boat. I was going out boating every day, hanging out and stuff. And I wanted something like on the river with the boat slip that I could make money on. So I went in and I fixed that one up as I was living there. Now, the cool part of this story is that right this second, as we speak, I just got the pre-qual letter today. As we speak, I'm taking that condo that I bought for $68,000. I'm selling it for $185,000, and this is all cash. So before, I just have to tell you this story before I kind of get into the further details here. The condo that I bought for 68, right? I was coming off of bankruptcy, a foreclosure, and all kinds of other things. So here how I did this. It was 68,000. So I needed 20% down at that point. Okay. So that's 14,000 plus some closing costs. Let's just say 20 grand. Well, I had made that in real estate commissions. So what I did was I got my buddy who also wanted to buy one and live there. We bought two, and he put the loan in his name. So although I had a bankruptcy, although I had a foreclosure, I couldn't get a loan. He put the loan in his name. I paid him the down payment money. I paid the payments, and the whole goal is $68,000. I'm a real estate agent. I'm going to pay this thing off in a year, and that's what I did. I paid it off in about a year, maybe 9 months, 14 months, something like that. Paid it off. So here I am. I own this property free and clear, $68,000. So the $68,000 condo I'm renting out for $900 a month. The condo fees are $300 a month. So I'm making a little bit right there. I'm making some cash flow. Of course, it's all cash at this point. So fast forward all these years later, that was 2011 when I bought that property. And today I have it under contract right this second for $185. I kind of was a little impatient. I probably could have got $200 for it. But the reason is because I'm buying 5 new construction homes right this second. All right, I'm closing on one every single month. I closed on one 2 months ago. I closed on one last month. I'm closing on one this month. I'm closing on 2 next month in September. And so the 2 I'm closing on September, guess what? I'm taking that 185. I'm 1031ing it into those 2 new construction homes. Okay, so I'm gonna try to. I'm going to try to break this down for you really quickly, all right? Just so you can kind of see. Okay, so I bought this condo for $68,000, okay? I'm selling this condo for $185, okay? This is how the transaction went, okay? Now, I'm 1031. Now, 1031 is where you take the money on an investment property, okay? You basically give it to a lawyer. You don't touch it, okay? And he uses it and gives it to the title company who's going to close another property, right, where you're going to close another property, and you avoid the capital gains taxes. So let's see the quick math on this. What would that be? Let's see. What is that? 100. I don't know if I'm doing the math right here, guys. $112,000 profit. Might not be doing the math right. All right, but let's just say it's 112, and this 112 I'm giving to a lawyer. Now I'm giving the entire 185 to the lawyer to hold. Okay, but this is the money I would have owed taxes on, the 112. So I probably would have paid about, let's just say, $50K in taxes that I don't have to pay because I'm going to flip that money into another property. And guess what? I'm going to flip it into 2 properties, not just one. You can actually 1031 into 3 properties or 3 into 1 property. So I'm actually getting a check for around 175 total, right, is the cash that I'll have, okay? So I don't pay these taxes. I get to put that $50,000 that I would have paid in taxes and put it into more investment property. So where am I putting this 175? Okay, I'm buying 2 new construction homes. Okay, and I'm buying those for $343 a piece times 2. $343,000. Okay, so I'm just going to walk you through this. I'm putting 30% down on these, and it's a total of about $200K down payment to get both of them. Okay. My payments. Okay. Let's see. Erase button. You know where the erase button is? Right here. Okay. All right. So I want you guys to get this before I erase it. Bought a condo for 68. Okay. Selling it for 185. 112,000 profit. Would have paid 50K in taxes, not paying it. Got 175 cash. I'm going to put that into 2 new construction homes that I'm buying for 343 a piece. I'm going to put 200,000 down. So I'll add a little cash to this, not much. Okay, here we go. Oh, perfect. Perfect. All right, let's see. Let's go back here. Okay. So the houses I'm buying for 343. Okay. My payment on these, okay, all in, taxes, insurance, principal, interest, everything is around 17. Let's see. Boop, boop. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's just start right here. Okay. 1,700. Okay. And I'm going to rent these out for 2,500. There's actually houses in there renting for 2,700. So let's just keep it conservative, okay? So this is a $800 a month cash flow per house. Okay, $800 cash flow per house. Okay, now what is that per year? Okay, that's 8,960 a year cash flow. Okay, now I'm putting 100,000 down per house. Okay, so the return on my cash on cash for 100,000 is 9.6% cash on cash. So get this. I'm putting 100,000 down that I got from a property that I bought 13 years ago. I'm getting 9.6% cash on cash return. Okay, so when you multiply this times 2, what is that? 18, 19, 2. So the whole thing for both houses, I've got about 19,000 a year coming in. Okay, 19,000 a year coming in, cash flow. Now that's on the 200,000 that I'm putting down, but I got it from the property that I sold that I bought for 68,000. So get this. So really, all that I've put into the deal is 68,000 because I actually cash flowed this property for years before I sold it and 1031'd it into the 2 properties. That's the only cash that I've put in to these 2 houses. And I'm going to make $19,200 a year off of this $68,000 investment. Well, what is that? Like 40%, 30%, 35% a year return on this. And this isn't even getting started because now rents are going to go up every year. Also, I'm not figuring in the fact that the money out of the 2,500 per month is actually paying the loan off. I'm not even talking about appreciation of the 2 homes that I'm buying with the money. So I want you guys to understand how this played out. 68,000 I'm up to. It's going to continue to increase, but I'm making $19,200 a year off of this investment. So I want you to understand the 4 ways that you actually make money real estate investing when you buy and hold, okay? There's so many ways to make money real estate investing, right? There's flips, there's wholesale, there's syndication, there's partners, there's developments, there's land, there's commercial, there's so many things. Okay, but let's just talk about buy and hold for just a second because this is what I illustrated here. My plan is not to sell these 2 homes for a long time. Let them eat. Let the rent increase. Allow them to continue to appreciate. The 4 different ways, people don't realize this. You do not get this in the stock market, okay? When you buy a rental property, okay, you have the cash on cash return. So always calculate your cash on cash return as I did here, which I'm getting 9.6%. I like a 8 to 10% cash on cash return. That's great because that's not the only return I'm getting. But the cash on cash is important to me. There was a commercial property that I really liked. There was a commercial property that I really, really liked. And I ran the numbers on it every which way I could. And it was about 1.3 million. And before I could break even on the property, I had to put $500,000 down. That was break even. So if I put half a million cash on this commercial property, I would literally have 0 cash on cash return. I was going to break even every month. And I was like, no, I'm not going to buy a deal unless there's cash on cash return of which I like. Unless it's some kind of a weird situation, amazing location, unique property, etc. But on a standard deal, I want to look at cash on cash return. Okay, so we have cash on cash return. On top of the cash on cash return, you have whatever principal that the rental income is paying down. So you have rent pay down. You've got depreciation that you can write off on your taxes, and you have appreciation. So you have appreciation, depreciation, debt buy down, and cash on cash return. Let me write these down. Cash on cash return, debt is getting paid off, depreciation that you write off your taxes, and appreciation. Whatever the property appreciates to, you own that cash. That's free money. Guys, this is free money. I could tell you story after story after story. Where's my notes? Okay. Let me dive into some more of this stuff. I don't see my timer either. Let's dive into some more of this stuff. But I want you guys to comment one. Okay, if you guys are going to start investing in real estate today, I want you to start your journey today. The earlier you get in, the more this snowballs. Right? Think about inflation. Inflation is going to increase every single year. The Fed's target rate is 2%. You know what 2% compounds to over the course of 5, 10, 15, 20 years? It's insane. So the value of the dollar continues to decrease while if you own assets, they continue to appreciate with the inflation. This is a hedge. Think about this. If you have $50,000, if you have $100,000 and you leave it in the bank, in 10, 15 years, what's it worth? A lot less. If you take that money and you put it down on a rental property, what's it worth in 10, 15 years? A lot more. And that's not really a theory. That's what it is. So I don't see anybody in the comments commenting. Like, I want to hear from you guys if this is resonating with you, if you're excited about real estate investing. Let me know where you are on your journey. All I'm seeing is the Facebook group. Can you guys put the StreamYard comments up? And where are you in your real estate investing journey? You're brand new. Have you not invested at all? Right? Put in the comments if you own rental property or you own investment properties or you flip houses. I want to know who you guys are. Okay, let me let me continue here, right? Just to share with you because this has been so big for me. Okay, now let me give you another aha moment. Another aha moment for me was as I'm a real estate agent, I lose everything. I come back, I move around a little bit. I end up at Remax. I was at Remax of Orange Beach, which is the #1 company in my market. And I went there because I wanted to be around the very best agents. And the #1 office in the entire county was very important to me to be at, even though it costs a lot of money actually to work there. But I wanted to be around the best because I wanted to be the best. So as I'm there and I'm just hustling, hustling, hustling. You guys know what I accomplished on the real estate agent side. Um, just continuing to try to build my business and make commissions and build that side of it. There were two, right? There were two different agents that I looked up to. Just these guys were like heroes to me. These guys were bigger than life. And I knew about them. These guys were legends, and I knew about them from years before I even came to Remax. I mean, these guys were just known. And I watched both of them all the way till the day that they died. This is kind of a sad story, but till the day that they died, they made calls. They were calling for sell by owners, expireds, et cetera, et cetera. And that was such an eye opener to me because I'm sitting here and like I would always go in these guys' office, ask for advice, tell them my situations. They were so incredible, gave me such incredible wisdom. Their experience, just you could just feel the experience when you walked in the room. And they knew that they were dying. They knew that they were sick. They knew that it was coming to an end. And guess what? They even went harder making calls, calling expires, calling for sell by owners. Everybody in office was like, wow, like we just got the news, like he's not doing good. And like he's here every day making calls. And I went in there and I talked to him and I said, hey, you know, what's the deal with this? And his response was that he wanted to do everything he could do to leave his wife as much as he could, right? And to see him go 3 days before he died to where he couldn't come to the office, literally to where he was in bed and couldn't get up. He made calls all the way up to that point. And we saw him in the office making calls, and 3 days later, dead. And that was such a massive moment for me that I said, I'm not gonna live like this. I'm not gonna be the agent that makes calls till the day that I die, trying to, you know, find people that want to buy and sell, help them buy and sell. As much as I love that part of the business, it's nothing that you want to do forever. And I want you guys to realize this now. I talk to a lot of agents and they're like, oh, I'm going to sell to the day that I die. And you may be like that. You may be thinking, oh, I love being an agent. I love sales. I'm going to sell to the day that I die. And guess what? I said the same thing. There was a point in my career where I was like, I love this. I'm going to do this forever. But then I started to see the signs. I started to see the writing on the wall. And I started to realize that, no, I don't want to do this forever. And that I need to start building something to help me have a hedge against having to be a real estate agent forever. I wanted to be to the point where, and I actually did this. I was to the point where I didn't have to go out and be a real estate agent for years before I stepped out of production. And I did it because I wanted to do it. That's where I wanted to be. And that's where I want you guys to be. And the really one of the I'm gonna say prob the most probable, it's the only platform, I'll just say that. The only way that you're gonna do it is through investing into real estate and getting really good at that game and building your portfolio. But I want you guys to be at the point where you wake up in the morning, and if you want to go be an agent, great, but you don't have to. And then you'll do that for a while just like I did, and then it'll come to the point where you're like, "No, I'm done. I'm not gonna be an agent anymore." You know why? Because I don't have to. I don't enjoy it anymore, and I'm so glad that I took the 2-day investing real estate challenge with the investor group so that I started my real estate investing journey to go out there and really crush it and build that portfolio up. So, let me come back. Let me tell you guys some more things. So, I bought that first property and I'm literally taking the money and I could actually tell you guys several more stories that played out the same way of properties that I bought in 2011, 12, 13 that I literally have sold and turned into even better investments. I'll give you another one here more recently. I bought a condo in 2019. Let me show you this. You'll love this. Okay, in 2019, I bought a condo on the beach. It was an Airbnb for 270. Bought a condo on the beach for 270. Okay. And we rented that out as an Airbnb. And it was doing about 40K. It was doing about 38K a year in gross rentals. Okay. In gross. So we had to pay the mortgage, we had to pay the condo fees, we had to pay all the stuff out of this. Okay. So, but we made cash flow off of this. Okay. So at the end, when we sold this property, we were ahead. Our bank account was ahead. So we were positive here. We lost no money. So I did this with a partner and we put 20% down. So I put about 30K myself down. Okay. So this is my total investment up to this point. 30,000 down, 270, 50-50 partner, 38K a year. We were positive on our bank account when we sold this. We sold this property 2022. It was early 2022. Early 2022. We sold it for 415. Okay. Sold it for 415. Let's see. That is a 235,000 profit. Okay, $235,000 profit. Okay, and remember at this point, all I put in was 30K. And we actually got a check for, let's see, it was about 300K is the cash we got back because we got our down payment money back, right? So we buy it for 270, sell it for 415 just a couple of years later, right? Profit of 235, we got a check for 300. Guess what we did? 1031. We 1031 it into a commercial duplex. Duplex. And that was 450. Okay, this was a 2,000 square foot, 1,000 square foot on each side duplex, a couple doors down from my office that I own in Gulf Shores, in a really nice commercial little street corridor. Okay, we put 20K in it to fix it up. Okay, and then we rented it. Right now, we're renting it for 4K, and that was on the low side. And we already have agreements after the 3-year contract to go up to 5K. Okay, so this is 48K a year cash flow. Okay. Okay, 48K a year. And what we did was we got 300 cash. Okay, but it was 450. So we put 150 cash in it. So that's 75,000 a piece. So to this point, I've got the 30,000 plus the 75 I put down. Okay, so that's about 100K. And we've got 48,000 cash flow coming in off that property. Okay, this is incredible stuff because this property, since we put the 20K in it, is worth over 500 now. Now we own this one free and clear at this point. Okay, now watch what we did. Refi, 300K. So the 100,000 that I put in the property, I got 150 cash back to me because we split it. I have a 50-50 partner. Okay, and then we're getting this. So let's just divide that in two, 24,000 a year. Okay, and then our payment is 2,000 a month. So you split that in half. So my payment on this side, so 12K a year is what I'm personally, once I break down the partnership, 12K a year. Now understand what happened. Like, see, look at where I am right now on this specific deal. I've put in 100,000. After all was said and done, I got 150 back. And I make 12,000 a year with no investment now. So look, again, let me say all this one more time. 100K, I got 150 back. This all happened within 2 to 3 years. 150, 150 back, and mind you, it's not just 150 back. The property is worth over 200,000 more than what we refinanced it for. So I actually have 150 cash back plus 100K equity that's going to continue to grow. So I've got 150 cash, 100,000 equity, and 12,000 a year to me, and I have nothing invested at all right now. Again, I could break down deal after deal after deal that I've done like this, and that just happened literally within the past couple of years. Um, Let me touch on the importance of mentorship. So when I was coming up, when I started flipping houses, when I was 21, 22, I had 2 or 3 mentors that were right there helping me every step of the way. And without them, I couldn't have done any of that. I wouldn't have had really the courage to do it. I wouldn't have understood how to do it and what the process looked like. And regardless of where you are in your real estate investing journey, let's say you're flipping houses right now, but you don't really understand the math behind long-term investing into real estate. Or maybe you're buying rentals, but you want to get into the flipping game. Or maybe you're doing both, but you want to get into syndication and raising money and creating funds or getting partners and different things like that. There's always another level. There's always something else to learn. And the importance of being around other people who are actually doing it, that are there to support you and help you, is priceless. And it's something that each and every one of you need to think about really seriously today as we continue through this 2-day challenge. It also helps you with time, right? And this is something I want to get into for you guys, because I believe most of you that are watching are real estate agents, because most of you guys are following me and all this. As a real estate agent, and this is something I learned really, really early on. As an, because I've done wholesale, I have flipped, I have developed, I've used hard money to flip properties. I've used the subdivision that I developed was a 40-acre piece that I bought for 400,000 hard money, put 10% down, chopped up 5-acre lots, sold them all for 100,000. So that was 800,000 against 400,000 that I only put 10% down on money loan. I literally made 350,000 in a course of 8 months using hard money, literally flipping land. So there's so many different things that I've done that you guys don't even know about. But you have to understand, as an agent, I always had my eyes on, is this a good deal to invest in? And this is what you need to be thinking about. This doesn't take any extra time. This isn't like an extra business for you to go out and, I'm a real estate agent. I can't invest. I don't have time to invest. I don't have time to build that side of my business. You're already doing it. You're already there looking at the deals. You look at the deals before they even go on the market, right? And this gives you the upper hand as the real estate investor. And this is what you need to be thinking about, because like the Twitter poll showed, like the YouTube poll showed, close to 70% of real estate agents do not own investment properties. And that's a tragedy, because what it's doing is putting you in a position where you're going to be one of the 2 agents that's making calls till the day that you die. And that's what I don't want. And that's why I wanted to do this challenge for you. But this doesn't take any extra time on your hands. I just want you to open your eyes up to wearing not just a real estate agent hat, but when you're looking at the deals to possibly list, I want you to think about them as an investor as well. Is this a good deal? Let me break this down for myself to see if I want to take this deal down, right? If I can take it down myself, if I want to bring on partners, if I want to raise money, if I want to do hard money, how I want to structure this deal. That's what I want you to be thinking about. This doesn't take any extra time off of what you're already doing. You're actually in the driver's seat to do this. And a lot of agents, I hate to say, really think super short term. So this is part of the challenge as well, to help you think more long term, right? Because I'm always trying to get you guys to think about think more long term when it comes to your real estate agent business, but you need to be thinking about, more long term, just you personally, which involves you as an agent, you as a real estate investor, so on and so forth. What's the vision there? So, like, take a second, write this right now. Like, take a moment, and I want you to write down your real estate investing goals. Okay, take like 60 seconds. Right, I want you to really think hard about this. Like, over the next 3 to 5 years, what do you want to look back and have accomplished when it comes to real estate investing? Do you want to own rental properties? Do you want to have flipped homes? Do you want to get into raising money, finding partners? What markets do you want to be in? Okay. And go ahead and take that moment right now as I'm talking. As you're listening to me talk, I want you to write down on a sheet of paper what your goals are. How big do you want your rental portfolio to be? How many properties do you want to own? Do you want to get into wholesaling? Do you want to get into flipping? What do you want to do? And what do you want that to look like? And as soon as you get that goal down on the sheet of paper, and if you're not writing it down, what are you doing here? Write down what you want this to look like. And then as soon as that is on that piece of paper, put it in the chat. I want to read what your goal is. I want to see what you're thinking right now. Okay. And I'm hoping that part of this is opening you up to thinking outside of the box in terms of, I'm not just a real estate agent. I could also be buying these properties. I could also be building my portfolio for the future where maybe one day, not maybe, one day, I will not have to go out here and be a real estate agent. That's what's happened to me. Long before I actually quit production, as I said, I didn't have to do it anymore because of real estate investing, because of the portfolio that I built. And I'm continuing to buy, even in this market. So put your goals in the chat. I want to see what you guys are thinking about. If you're thinking about flipping houses, if you're thinking about buying rentals. Lonnie, that's not owning rental properties. Is tell me how many you want to own. Tell me, what time frame. Tell me the value of the portfolio. Like, let's get specific, guys. Multifamily homes. Let's get specific. I want to own 10 to 20 rentals in the next 5 years. That's amazing, Norma. 5 rental properties in the next 12 months. Incredible. Okay. Now, I kind of touched on it a little bit. What I mostly went over are my buy and holds, how I flipped that money, multiplied that money. I mean, I took 68,000 and now I make about 20 grand a year off of that investment, owning 2 homes that are paying themselves off and appreciating. Like, there's no telling what that 68,000 is going to look like in 10 years from now, 20 years from now. It's going to be crazy. When you think about the commercial deal that we did, where I literally put, at this point, I have nothing invested. I got my money back, the 100K, plus 50,000 more, plus 100,000 equity in a commercial property, plus 12,000 a year personal income, $1,000 a month with nothing invested. Is that a lot of money? No, but think about the return. It's an infinite return. It's a return on nothing in terms of the cash flow. That's amazing, and that's the power of investing in a real estate. The I want to touch briefly here on, because I know a lot of you may be worried about buying properties direct from owner as a real estate agent, and kind of like what the process looks like. Because I've done a ton of this. I know a lot of you are scared of this situation. Let me grab a swig. A lot of you are worried about this, and I'm just here to tell you it's nothing to worry about. Number one, never had an issue whatsoever. I buy the property just as if I'm a buyer. Like the big differences is that you've got to disclose it in the contract, right? And the other provisions and other remarks of the contract, you're going to put, hey, or at least in the state of Alabama, right? So it depends on your state. What I would do is talk to my broker, right? That's the very first thing I would do. If you're looking to buy uh, direct from owner or whatever, I would call your broker. And you know what else I would do? I would call the state commission, and I would just say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. You talk to the legal department, say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I just want to kind of know what the legalities are around me buying real estate myself, what it looks like, what the process is. I can tell you in my state, we have to disclose it right there in the contract. Hey, buyer is a licensed real estate agent in the state of, okay, we have to put that on the contract. If we're selling the property, we have to do the same thing, right? The seller is a licensed real estate agent in the state of Alabama. Even Florida, we do this. Okay, so I would talk to my broker. I would talk to the real estate commission, just so you understand what the full legalities are and logistics are around buying property as a real estate agent. But this has never been an issue for me whatsoever. So when I run into a seller, okay, and I'm looking at it as if I may be the buyer, right? And like like sometimes, even when I'm prospecting, guys may have heard me do this on live calls. Like I actually have done this on many live calls on YouTube, and I tell them, especially if it's a for sale by owner or something like that, or if I'm looking at it like it might be a good deal, I'm like, hey, I'm calling you as a real estate agent, but I may be even interested in it myself. And a lot of times that really sparks a lot of interest when you're talking to the seller. This could be a strategy for you to kind of play around with when you're talking to sellers. Hey, I could be the buyer myself. When you nail down the type of properties you want to buy, what you like to buy, what you are buying, another thing you're going to do is reach out to all the local agents of that area and let them know, hey, I'm a buyer for this type of property. If you run into this type of property, I want you to contact me before it hits the market and give me a shot at the property. Right? That's another incredible way to find deals. But when you run into an owner, I mean, it's the same as any other situation. I think you guys are overthinking it if you are worried about, what it looks like. But it's the same thing. You write the offer. You basically are representing both. In my state, we have dual agency. I represent both sides. I represent myself, and then I represent the seller. Normally, I'll cut the commission down. And so that's another incredible thing for real estate agents, right? Let's go back to really quickly, like this deal, for example, right? We got 6%. No, we got half of that. We got 3% on this deal. And my other partner is a real estate agent. So we got, 3%. So let's just say 1.5% a piece that we got back that I didn't even figure into this deal. Now, when we bought this off market. There was no commission on that deal. But this deal, we got a commission. Up here on these deals right here, on these deals right here, on these deals, I'm getting a 4% commission. These are DR Horton homes. I'm getting a 4%, 4% commission when I buy that. So when I put the 100,000 down, I'm getting 4%. So what is that? That's 13,000. So when I put the 100,000 down, I'm getting 13,000 back right then as a commission. That's like getting a 13% return day one. Day one. You get like your return as an agent is even greater than as a regular investor that doesn't have the real estate license, that doesn't represent themselves as an agent, because on a lot of these deals you get the commission day one, and so that's an immediate return. There's I could go on and on and on here. There's so many different reasons for a real estate agent and how different ways that you can make money. Now, another thing I wanted to touch on was hard money. I've done a lot of deals using hard money, private money. I talked about the development deal I did, 40 acres. I bought 40 acres for 10,000 an acre. It was 400,000. Okay, chop those into 5-acre lots. So there were 8 lots. Sold those for 100,000 a piece. They were right off the road. I didn't have to build roads or anything. I paid an engineer like 5-10K to draw it up, approved with the city, and boom, I was ready to sell them. So after all was said and done, I made 350,000. The hard money at that time, we were getting 10, it was 10% interest at the time. There were some hard money deals we did for 8%, some we did for 12. But we also flipped a lot of homes. I told you during that time, I flipped like 12 to 15 homes during that same time period. And those were all hard money loans. There wasn't any conventional loans in there. And so the beauty of the hard money is that A, you don't have to put 20% down on investment properties. It's normally like 5 or 10% for that. This isn't going to go on your credit. They may look at your credit. They may be that, depending on who the lender is, they may look at all that stuff, but it's not like going to go on a credit report per se. There's a lot of benefits to this. Also, with conventional mortgages, you can only get so many. Like you can only get so many investment conventional mortgages, not with hard money. Hard money, you can get as many as you want, as many as the lender will allow you to have. So there's a lot of benefit there. There's a lot of benefit with hard money. There's a lot of benefit with conventional. So I'll dive into a little bit of that. With conventional, what's so great is that anything under 4 units. So if you buy a fourplex, if you buy a duplex, if you buy a threeplex, you can buy it on a 30-year fixed conventional loan if you're not already maxed out on the number of mortgages that you have. And so I've got two right now as we speak. I've got 2 duplexes and a fourplex that I have on a conventional 30-year fix. So when you go to 5 units or more, then you can find 30-year fix for that kind of stuff. It's out there. But for the most part, you're going to have adjustable rate mortgages. And the adjustable rate mortgages, as you know, can be a little risky. What's going to happen with mortgage rates, so on and so forth. So like I found like that little sweet spot is 4 units or less that I can get 30-year fix. And I know how the whole thing is going to play out over a 30-year period. This fourplex that I bought probably 4 years ago, bought it for 200. That was 50,000 a unit. I put 100 in it. So now I bought it for 200. Now I have 300 in it. Now it's worth 500. When I bought it, it was producing, they were renting for 500 a month, and now they're renting for 1250 a month. And the loan is paid down to like because I put 20% down, so the loan's paid down to like 130. It's worth 500. It's bringing in 5,000 a month cash flow. So I could tell you story after story after story here of my properties and how much money I've made, what the cash flow looks like, what the outlook of this looks like. I could also touch on the market itself, like why right now is the time that you want to get into real estate investing. I'm about to bring Ryan up, but before I do, I want to touch on that for a second because every single year, okay, when you look at medium home prices in America, every single year they go down in the fall. And this is even 2021, the year of the boom. Prices went down slightly that year. The number of transactions go down. We've already hit the peak every year. If you look at number of homes that sell in the US, we've already hit the peak for the year and now we're headed down. Prices are already leveling out and coming down. You may say, I live in New York metro area. I live in South Florida. This doesn't apply. This doesn't apply to us. Yes, it does. It absolutely does. People said that in comments on Instagram, and I went straight to the data, and I saw where the last 2 years in South Florida, in Miami, in Metro New York, that home prices went down in the fall. Some of those markets went down a lot, some just a little bit, but they did go down in every single market. So what I'm telling you is that right now, not only is this this is a great year to invest, but this is the point in the year that you need to get started because home prices are leveling and coming down. And guess what they do every spring? In January, they bottom out and they start coming back up. Look at the data. So if you can start to educate yourself right this second on investing, if you can start investing right now, looking for the deals and really kind of prepare of what the market looks like over the next 6 to 8 to 12 months, how this thing's going to play out, you're going to be in the best position possible to start right this second. All right. So thank you guys. I appreciate your time. I'm going to bring Ryan up here, let him come up and do his thing, bro. How you doing?
Bro. Appreciate you, man. Give Ricky a little round of applause in the chat. Show him some love. He's going to be back on here too, so do not let off. We got until 11 o'clock today, so we're going to be going over a lot of things, right? I want to touch on some stuff that Ricky said, though. You know, I think the first thing was that, man, that story he told about the, you know, realtor that worked until, man, 3 days before they died. I mean, it's absolutely incredible to me that, like, that's kind of like the standard for realtors. You don't really have a way out. And it's not just realtors, it's any job, right? If you don't start accumulating assets, you're pretty much not going to leave your family with anything, right? I mean, assets are the game. I'm going to tell you about a little framework that I created that I think is super helpful for you guys. But I also want to just tell you my story real quick for those of you who are brand new and you don't know who I am. You think I'm just some crazy guy with red hair and whatever else. So to backtrack, I'm just going to take about 5 minutes to tell you because, you know, I feel for the realtors. I got my real estate license back in 2010. So I don't know how many of you guys like put in the chat right now what year you got licensed, because I know a bunch of you guys are realtors, and so I want to know how long you guys been in the game and, you know, what you've been through. Because if you've been through real estate before the crash, then, you know, you have a completely different perspective versus somebody who just got licensed, you know, these last couple of years with things crazy. So, you know, for me, I got licensed in 2010. I was 21 years old. For those of you who don't know, it was pretty much the worst time to get licensed because we had just bottomed out everywhere and nobody had good credit because everyone got foreclosed on or had a short sale. You had a bunch of people who didn't have money, right? We were in the biggest recession ever. You also had, you know, basically no listings. Okay. Think about this. You guys try to get listings and that's the goal. But back then, it was almost impossible to get listings because no one owned a home. Here in Las Vegas, I want to say 90+% of listings were REOs. Okay. They were foreclosures and bank owned. So essentially, you know, the realtors here in Las Vegas, there was maybe like 4 people who had all the listings because they had the REO contract. So, you know, for the normal realtor who was trying to go get a listing, like there just literally wasn't anything. And then guess what? If you were like me and you're trying to break in the game and you're trying to be a buyer's agent, very few people could get qualified for a loan. So it was a really rough time to be a realtor. And I'll tell you this, you know, this is what set me off and made me go down the path of being an investor. Back in 2010, okay, prices are at all-time lows. And as we all know, that would have been an amazing time to invest because prices were so cheap compared to where they are today. And by the way, now I can see you guys' comments. Most of you guys are recently licensed. So this is good. You know, I see a lot of 2021s, 2020, 2023. It sounds like a bunch of you guys might have gotten laid off during COVID and you became a realtor. So let me know if that's the case for what actually happened. Or, you know, you had to have a job career switch. And so you got into real estate because of COVID. But just based on what I see here, that seems to be a pattern. But nonetheless, in 2010, okay, I remember showing one house to a guy who was a cash investor, which was like super rare. I was super excited. And I was showing him this house that had sold in 2008 for $350,000. Now, this house was here in Las Vegas, brand new in 2008. And, you know, it was like it was 1,800 square feet, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, sold for $350 brand new. Okay. It was listed at $90,000. Okay. Now I'm thinking this house is 70% off. Like, this is a great deal. You know, it's like brand new. Nobody's even really lived in here. It didn't need any repairs. You could have rented that thing for like $1,200-1,300 at the time. I'm like, dude, this is a killer deal. And so I go show him the house. Everything looks good. He's like, can we offer, you know, 70,000 on it? And I was like, dude, well, like, sure, it's already a good deal, but let's offer 70 because they don't even have any offers. And why not? Right. So I write up the offer and everything and getting ready to submit. And the guy says, you know what? After thinking about it, I think the market's going to keep going down. And I'm like, dude, really? Like, Is the house going to be free? How's the market going to go down? I don't understand. You couldn't build a house this big for $70,000, let alone $90,000. And he's like, you know what? Like you're young, so you don't get it, but timing is everything. And I remember sitting there just thinking like, yeah, I'm young and I don't get it, but like to me, it seems like common sense. But I don't have $70,000, so maybe this guy knows what he's talking about. Sure enough, he didn't. He was an idiot, just like the majority of the world. At the end of the day, the majority of the world for the past 13 years has been saying the market's going to go down. They've been saying, do the same old crap, go to college, do this, do that. And guess what? When you follow the majority of the world's advice, you end up like the majority of the world in a tough spot, struggling with debt and all these things. So the moral of that story is I realized being a realtor really wasn't for me. At that point, I was like, if I could be the guy who was my own buyer and my own listing, right? If I could be the guy who got to pick what were best deals and then go list my deals, then I would much rather do that. And, unfortunately, it took me 5 years to finally figure out the steps to do it. I flipped my first house back in 2015. So I went from 2010 being a realtor to 2015. I was still a realtor and a struggling realtor at that, who finally got his first flip at 2015. And I made $25,000 from that first deal, more than I ever made in a commission check as a realtor at the time. And I said, man, that was way easier. I didn't have to deal with somebody telling me whether or not they wanted to buy the deal. I didn't have to deal with anybody on selling it and what kind of repairs to make. I got to control the entire transaction, and I got paid more money to do it. And so it became clear to me that my license was simply a tool to find investment properties and grow my wealth that way. And that's exactly what happened. That first year I bought 5 flips. The second year I bought 20. First time I ever made 6 figures. Third year I bought 50 flips, made almost $1 million in my third year flipping houses. And then my fourth year we did 150, made a couple $1,000,000, and the rest is history. So the moral of that story is this: if you want to take control of your future, at the end of the day, you're going to have to become the decision maker. Okay. Because no matter what, if you are always bound by your clients and you're always chasing them down for the next deal, it gets old real quick. And you end up like that person who is calling expireds until the day they die. I don't know about you, but I don't want that for you. So, for those of you who are serious about investing in real estate and actually having an asset that is going to leave a legacy of wealth for generations to come, not a job that's making you money and paying the bills, but actually having assets that you can pass down to your kids, your spouse, and whatever else, put a 1 in the chat, because I get frustrated with realtors. I'm not a realtor anymore. I was a realtor for 8 years, but I get frustrated because realtors see very one-dimensionally. At the end of the day, they're like, oh, I got to get listings. I got to get buyers. And I'm like, no, you got to own assets. You need to be the buyer. You need to be the seller. You should be trading your own assets. That's how you get wealthy. You don't get wealthy representing people all day, right? So I want to just make sure we're on the same page, because there's a lot of realtors at other events and everything else who are drinking the realtor Kool-Aid, and that's all they want to do. And whatever, they ain't for me, right? They can go be at Mike Ferry and Tom Ferry's events. I don't need them at my events. I want realtors who are ready to own assets and make it happen. Okay. So let's talk about this. Okay. You can make a lot of money as a realtor. All right. Everything that we teach at Wealthy Investor can be applied as a realtor. And I'll explain why here in a sec. Okay. If you guys can scroll up on my notes real quick, that'd be great. But here at Wealthy Investor, we have a framework called Make, Manage, and Multiply. Okay. Whoops. My handwriting is so bad. Sorry, guys. So here's the thing. Okay. Our framework is called Make, Manage, Multiply, and I'm glad I see a bunch of ones. That brings me excitement because I know I'm talking to the right people. And so also too, shout out to you guys who are still on this call right now, because look, it's not easy to go take 2 hours out of your day, especially on a Monday. So you're very different than everyone else right now. You have people who, this is a free event, and they're like, oh, I can't be at the free event because I got to go in, do my cold calls, or I got to get my workout in. And it's like, no, fool. Like, this event can change your life. Go wake up 2 hours earlier and get your workout in. Make your calls after. Spend a little extra time later, but make time for the things that are important. That's the big thing. Okay. And so I want to just salute you guys because you guys have made the time to be here. You're still locked in. I can see it in the comments. So I know that you guys are very different than the rest. So I appreciate you guys for being there. Now, I want you guys to identify what stage of business you're in because this is going to help you dictate your path going forward. All right. So, entrepreneur and investor starts in the stage of make. Okay. You're a solopreneur trying to figure your thing out. And you're like, okay, how am I supposed to go about this? How do I start making money? Right. Well, for me, I don't care how you make money. You want to make it as a house flipper, a wholesaler, a realtor, a content creator, a business owner. I don't really give a crap. What I want you to do is figure out how you can make 250K. All right. Everyone here on this call can make $250,000 with the resources that are available on this call. The only difference is some of you will take those resources and some of you won't. Some of you will apply them and take it serious and believe in the vision, and others won't. Okay. So all of you can make 250, all right, in some form or fashion. Now, to make 250, you don't even need employees. Okay. You can make 250 right now as a solo realtor or as a solo house flipper or a solo wholesaler. You don't need any team. You can make 250. I made my first $1 million with just having one person next to me. Okay. I know Ricky over there, he doesn't have a big team. He's making millions of dollars without a big team. Okay. So you don't need this massive team in this early stage, but I want you to master one skill. That's it. I need you to master one skill. Now, the cool thing is with being a realtor or being a flipper or being a wholesaler, the skill that you need to make 250 is similar across the board. Okay. How does the realtor business work out? How does the flipping business and wholesaling business work out? Well, who can tell me right now in the chat, what is the first thing you need to do if you want to grow your business? What is step number one? What does the top end of everything look like that will lead you to making 250? Okay. Can you guys tell me? I'm going to wait for the chat. I want to see what kind of responses I get, see how in tune you guys are with how to make money. So what is the very first step that you guys need to take in order to make 250? Okay. I'm going to wait for some responses here. They're a little delayed on my end. Okay. Someone says networking, relationships, education, leads, talk to more people, find a good deal, inventory. Okay. Generate leads. All right, cool. So here's the thing. It's a combination of a couple of things you guys said, right? First thing is education. All right. You got to first understand the business and the skill you're trying to learn. If you don't know what you're doing, you think you're just going to stumble upon it and figure it out? Odds say no. All right. So you have to first get an education and a blueprint to how to do the business successfully. Right. And you have to learn it from somebody who has the type of business you want. Let me give you an example of this. Okay. Okay. I've golfed. I've been at the same golf course with Mike Ferry and everything. Right. I don't follow his methods at all because I don't want to call expireds and do all that bull crap my entire life. It's just not what I'm going to do. Right. So if it was me and I was trying to become a successful realtor, I know he has a blueprint to become a successful realtor. I just don't want to follow it because I think there are other ways to do it. Right. So then I'm going to take a guy like Ricky and I'm going to say, wow, I really like what Ricky's doing. Right. He's on social media. He's doing all these different innovative things. Like, dude, I want to be like Ricky. How do I learn what Ricky did? Right. So I'm going to start getting education from the people that I want to emulate. Okay. The other thing I would look at is if you are a realtor, you want to make sure that you're also following realtors who invest themselves. Okay. You don't want career realtors as people to follow. You want people who are taking their money, doing great, on that side, and then they're investing into real estate. Right. So number one, get education from the person you want to emulate. All right. Second thing, once you have an education and a blueprint, the second thing is, all right, making more money first starts with marketing. Okay. You need to figure out how to generate more leads. Now, some of you guys were touching on that. You're like, hey, I got to talk to more people. I got to network. I got to, get more people in my sphere of influence. What you are saying is, I need to be a better marketer. That is all you're saying. Okay. So for me, I like to think I'm pretty good at marketing. I've gotten almost 1 billion views online. We've generated tens of millions of dollars across multiple industries. We spend multiple 7 figures a year in ad spend. So I have a pretty good understanding of marketing and generating leads. Our CRM right now has over 100,000 people in it. Imagine if your CRM had 100,000 people who expressed interest in working with you. How much money do you think you would make? Let me know. What do you guys think you would make if you had 100,000 leads in your pipeline right this moment? Okay. You would make a lot of money. Okay. So it all starts, number one, with marketing. Okay. If you cannot generate leads and you don't know how to become a good marketer, you will never make money. That's what it comes down to. All right. Once you get your marketing dialed in, then you need to get your sales game dialed in, right? And I see a lot of realtors going through sales training, and that's amazing. But here's the thing. If you have no leads coming in, who are you going to sell? Okay. Marketing always supersedes sales, because guess what? If you're the best salesperson and you only have 10 people to close, and I'm not as good as you, but I have 1,000 people to close, who's going to make more money? Even if I'm not as good of a salesperson as you, if I have 1,000 people I can talk to, I'm going to win. Okay. So here's the thing. Okay. You got marketing first and foremost, then you got to figure out sales. With just those 2 skills alone, you can make 250,000. It's literally that simple. Okay. You just have to have the right vehicle. And here's the thing. With real estate and being a realtor and being a wholesaler, the marketing is the same. Guess who we're targeting? Sellers, right? You guys right now as realtors are trying to get a listing. You're targeting sellers. We are too. I'm not trying to get a listing though. I'm trying to buy their house. I'm trying to get a wholesale. I'm trying to get a flip. I'm trying to get a rental. Guess who's going to make more money on this deal? You go get a seller and maybe they pay you 3%, but likely they're going to beat you up on the commission and you're going to get 1 or 2%. And that's the reality of it. Do you think you're going to make more money that way? Or do you think you'll make more money if you could wholesale it, or you could flip it, or you could buy it as a rental, right? What's going to make you more money at the end of the day? I would say flipping, wholesaling, rentals. Investing is going to make you more money in the long run. Now, there are definitely scenarios where they don't want to sell it for a discount. And so we send our listing agent in there and we do get listings. So I'm not saying don't go for listings, but I'm saying reframe your mind a little bit and say, well, man, is this the best? Should I be going for a listing? Is that the only lens at which I try to do deals through? Or should I be actually going after owning the property or wholesaling it, right? So, it takes a different kind of sales process to really maximize the outcome of the same exact lead. Does that make sense? Put a 1 if that makes sense, because I know I'm starting to talk a little fast and I'm getting pretty fired up about this, but put a 1 if that makes sense, right? So, moral of the story is, you get good at marketing and you get good at the sales process for whatever you do, you can make 250 pretty easily. Okay. Now, once you conquer that, the second thing you're going to have to do is go into our managed stage. This is what we teach at Wealthy Investor in the managed stage. And this is where you try to grow your business to $1 million plus. All right. Now, here's the thing. If you want to make $1 million plus, it's a totally different skill set. All right. I talked about learning marketing and sales here. Now you got to learn ops. All right. You got to learn how to hire people, fire people, SOPs, processes, figuring out how to delegate better. You got to learn how to be a business owner at this point. You want to get to $1 million bucks. It's not going to be you just pounding more doors. You can only hit so many doors. You can only make so many calls. On this stage, I don't have a problem with you pounding doors and calling expireds and doing that thing. I think it's great. I think it's good for learning your skills. The moment you try to go to here, you get capped out. Okay. I run 6 different businesses right now that all make over $1 million. Some make over $10 million a year. Okay. I'm not in them. I have hired a team. We have managed these people and got the right people in the right seats, because I've learned this skill over here on how to handle ops so that I don't have to. All right. So in the managed stage, it's all about ops. If you want to scale from 250 to a million, you're going to have to learn how to be a business owner, right? Now, that leads to the next stage, multiply. This is when you're making over $1 million, right? I should say this is 1 million, and then this is 1 million plus, right? Once you make $1 million plus, then you get to decide, man, how do I want to do next? Do I want to, do a different business? Do I want to, invest and buy more rentals? Do I want to, what I would call DD, double down? Do I want to double down on what I'm currently doing and trying to grow this $1 million business to 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, whatever, right? So, at the end of the day, this is the progression of what it looks like to building true wealth. Now, I want you guys to tell me, all right, if I had to put 1, 2, 3, where are you guys at? Put a 1 in the chat if you're in the make stage. You're trying to get to 250. Put a 2 if you're in the manage stage. You've already done 250. You're trying to get to $1 million. And put a 3 in the chat if you're already doing $1 million plus. I want to know where the group is right now so I can speak effectively to what the majority is. All right. So let me know. 1 if you're in the make stage. 2 if you're in the manage stage. 3 if you're in the multiply stage. Okay. Because this is going to help me figure out where I need to take this. All right. So let's see. We got a bunch of 1s. All right. Okay. So majority of you are basically all 1s. All right. So we're all trying to figure out how to get past 250. That's the goal. Let me know in the chat, why haven't you made 250 yet? I just want to know, for those of you who are in it, because I saw that a bunch of you have been realtors since 2017, 2019. Why do you think you have not been able to get to 250 yet? We got a 2 and a 3. That's amazing. I'm curious from my own perspective, because guess what? I was like you as a realtor. Okay. I never made $250,000 as a realtor in my entire career. All right. So, I'm not like you're, casting shade or like talking down or anything. I'm like, dude, I was there too. I'll tell you, for me, what happened was I switched the vehicle I was operating. Okay. I was still in the real estate industry, and I went from basically driving a Corolla to going to the Lambo and deciding to be the investor. Okay. Still driving a car in the same industry, but I decided to switch vehicles. And guess what? It fast tracked me. All right. So somebody said, my marketing sucks. I'm crap at marketing. I'm still building. Stephanie just started Wealthy Investor, so you're going to get there, Stephanie. Dan said, I haven't been part of Wealthy Investor. Well, I didn't say it. You did. Brand new, own 5 rental properties. I'm difficulty finding clients. I haven't hit it hard getting leads and networking with investors. All right. So you guys are all saying the same thing that I just told you is the problem here, right? You're saying, I am not marketing enough. I don't have enough leads. You might be the best salesperson ever, but you don't have enough leads. But guess what will happen, right? You do good at marketing. You then have a sales problem. You're like, I'm getting all these leads, but they're not converting, right? So now you got to learn sales. So the 250 game is nothing crazy, okay? It all starts with marketing and sales. And to me, okay, as people already in the real estate industry, it comes down to figuring out how to maximize every single lead, right? If I have a lead that comes in that wants to sell me their house at a discount, okay, and I know I'm going to go make $50,000 on it, $100,000 on it, okay, but I don't know how to flip or wholesale it, and all I can do is list it and make $5,000, $10,000. Do you see how that becomes a problem? Because you don't have enough tools in your tool belt for the same lead. You don't have education, okay? That's what it comes down to. You just don't know how to do it yet. And the hard part is watching YouTube, listening to podcasts. I love it that you guys watch Ricky's YouTube. If you guys watch my podcast and my YouTubes, I appreciate it. But here's the thing. 99% of people who watch my videos don't do anything. It just is the way it is. Like, I hate to say it, but that's the reality of it, right? Because for all of you who are in the Facebook group and you're not at 250 yet, and many of you aren't, majority aren't, it's like, well, why? Everybody watches the YouTubes. Everybody watches the podcast. Like, why aren't you there yet? Right? It's because when you're doing things passively, it just doesn't work. Right? When you're doing things like that, it just doesn't work. Right? So in order for us to get good at marketing, in order for us to get good at sales, you're just not going to learn it on YouTube. Okay. But you are going to have to dedicate yourself to education. That is the only way you are going to get better. Can you guys put a 1 in the chat if you agree? Right? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. Like, in order to get better at marketing, in order to get better at sales, you've got to get educated first. Okay. And it all comes back to, once you pass this stage, then you're going to get into the next stage. And guess what? It requires new education, because I got to learn how to now hire people and manage people and everything else. Then guess what? Once you pass that stage, it requires a new level of education. For me, I'm constantly educating myself because I want to get to $100 million a year. Okay. I'm not there yet, but I need to go learn from the people who have done it. I am not going to stumble upon it and just figure it out. Okay. I need to go talk to the Grant Cardones, the Ed Miletts, the Patrick Bet-Davids, the guys who have already sold for hundreds of millions, the Gary V's. Like, that's who I got to talk to that are in my space and figure out how to do it. And guess what? I've gotten to have pretty much all those guys on my podcast. They've spoken at my events. You know, I've done TV shows with Grant. I've done all these things. And guess what? I'm just trying to educate myself from them so I can get to the next level, because I understand I don't know how. Okay. I definitely know how to get out of this level. I know how to get out of this level. And I'm over here now trying to get to the even bigger levels. Okay. So here's the thing with education, right? I'm just going to break down 3 components that make education work. Okay. There are 3 things that you need. All right. If you're going to learn. Okay. The first is, okay, well, I shouldn't say it's education, but the first is education because you need to rethink how you do things. Right. So for us, when it comes to education, a wealthy investor, we've got Zoom calls, we've got coaches, we've got, all different things. I don't even know if they got my slide here, but we've got, I think, 4 or 5 coaching calls per week. We've got courses, we've got all that stuff, right? You got to build the foundation, because guess what? You guys can already tell me what you learned in realtor school. It doesn't really help you much, right? What you learned in public school or private school or even college does not prepare you to succeed and make 250 as a realtor, or else you would be doing it, right? So getting the right education and blueprint is number 1. The second thing that you need are tools and resources. So even if you know the right things and you know how to evaluate deals, you know how to market, you know how to do all that, right? You still need tools and resources. Okay. You need SOPs, systems, or standard operating procedures. You need scripts. You need templates. What else you need? You need all the documents, the contracts. Okay. Because even if you know how to do it, a lot of people get caught up because they're like, oh, well, what LLC should I open? How do I do an assignment contract? And then they just don't do it because they don't have the proper document. They don't have the right procedure. They're like, I don't understand the process, and therefore I'm just never going to do it. Well, guess what? You can understand the process. Like, it's all here for you, right? So you need tools and resources. Okay. And the last thing you need is community. All right. A bunch of you guys were already talking about this, but you need networking, opportunities. You need referrals. You need money, partners. Guess what? Like, people in our communities, they do deals together. They sell each other deals. They fund each other's deals. They do a bunch of different things together. And these are the 3 components that we know people need in education. Okay. And this is exactly what we do at Wealthy Investor. Okay. We have a whole bunch of different programs. We actually partner with Ricky on a specific one that I know would be great for you guys, because, at the end of the day, when I first met Ricky, probably over a year ago, he actually came on my podcast. I was like, bro, this is amazing what you're doing. You're crushing as a realtor. You're also not just only doing that, but you're buying real estate, doing social media. You're doing everything that I believe in, dude. Like, I want to do more with you. Okay. And, we started talking, and all of a sudden he's like, dude, I think I'm going to get into, coaching on different things. And I was like, well, coaching is a whole different beast. Like we've been doing it now for 5 years, and we hold crazy events. I don't know. Did anyone in this group go to WealthCon? Put a 1 if you went to our last WealthCon, and let me know kind of like what you thought about it. But back, man, it was about 3 weeks ago. We had our last WealthCon, over 1,200 people. We had guys like Brandon Turner, we had Brad Lee and Carlos Reyes, and Ricky spoke. Obviously, I spoke, and everyone on my team. Like, it was a really massive event, and lots of ones in the chat. And it was just a great experience. But guess what? I told Ricky, I go, hey, dude, throwing these big events is really hard, man. Like, you have to have a great team. You need great marketing. You need great sales. Everything we're talking about, you need great ops. You need all of those things. And he's like, yeah, dude, like the learning curve for me to do it would be extremely high. He's like, what if we just partnered up? What if, like, I believe in everything you guys are doing over at Wealthy Investor. Like, what if I was able to, just jump inside of what you guys are doing, come speak at wealth cons, do challenges like this? And I was like, bro, that would be awesome, because we don't have like a realtor on the team. We got a bunch of failed realtors. Actually, I take that back. Brian Davila was a really good realtor. He did all the cold calling and everything. But then he realized there was way bigger money to be made investing. So now he's kind of an anti-realtor. But I was like, dude, I want somebody who understands the realtors so that we can get them on the other side of the game for real estate, because that's where the real wealth is made. When it comes down to it, you cannot pass your real estate license down to the next generation. Okay. It's literally worthless. Your license means nothing. Okay. But you can pass down assets and houses and rental properties and even a business. Right. So, I said, Ricky, instead of trying to do your own thing, and like he was asking me for advice on how to start it, I was like, you should just join up with us. And so that's exactly what we did. So, I'm going to, quit talking about it. I'm going to give the floor back to Ricky, because he's still got some Q&A he wants to go through. He's got some things he wants to share. But I'm going to let him tell you about something special that we're going to be doing for you guys, for not only coaching, but for the next WealthCon. Actually, we haven't even released when the next WealthCon is, so I'm going to let him actually talk about that and give you guys the first insight, because we got some amazing keynote speakers that are going to be just amazing. So I'm going to give it up for Ricky and let him come back, do some Q&A, and tell you guys about the special thing that we've got for you guys. So Ricky, come on up, dude.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. So that was incredible, wasn't it? Let's hear in the chat, man, how amazing you guys thought that was. I mean, because Ryan didn't only just break down real estate investing. This was like a full business lesson for just success in business in general, which I thought was incredible. So as he said, we've got this incredible deal for you guys with Wealthy Investor. This is a really incredible community I've been a part of, like Ryan said, for a little under a year now. And every single time I've learned so much inside the community, right? And I've developed, actually, it's what got me to get a little more aggressive with my real estate investing journey and go out there and really try to build a larger portfolio. I've literally, I want to say that I've nearly doubled my rental portfolio since I joined Wealthy Investor, and also flipped more homes, to be honest with you. So the deal that we have for you today is incredible. It includes everything that Ryan just talked about in terms of community, coaching calls, the SOPs, the templates, the scripts, everything that you need to move forward to get that education. But not only that, but have the tools and resources needed to go out there and absolutely take action and make it happen. So the deal that we have for you today includes all of that. You also get 2 VIP tickets to WealthCon, which is the first week of October. They have their keynote speaker in place, which is Ed Milet. Now, I've spoken at the last 3 WealthCons. Actually, the first one was called the Tyke Summit. And I have met people that I am doing real estate deals with right now. And even more people who we have ongoing conversations about deals that we're looking for, throwing in together, raising money, so on and so forth. This is like a concentrated group of real estate investors, and really on the cutting edge. This is the younger crowd of real estate investors who are out there, who are the most innovative. They are collaborating on a completely different level than anything that you've ever seen. So let me get the slide back. So what we are including for you today is 2 VIP tickets, $500 a piece. So that's $5,000 right there. Okay. So you get that, you get 12 months of coaching. Okay. This includes 5 Zoom calls a week. You also get a one-on-one coach that you can contact anytime that's going to hold you accountable. All right. And like Ryan said, all the documents, SOPs, templates, everything that you're going to need. But these group Zoom calls, this is where I found the most value, right? Learning from the other people in the group who are out there doing it and learning the strategies and asking questions and collaborating. That's where a lot of the value is here. But I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at WealthCon. The deal that we have for you today is a $1,000 deposit. Okay, this is a 10K product with $1,000 deposit today. If you pay in full, it's an $8,000 one-time fee. And this is a year access to all the coaching, access to all of us, access to all of the deals. You get a directory to everybody that's in the wealthy investor community. There's a private Facebook group only for the people that are in the community. So this is a group of very, very serious real estate investors that you want to be a part of if you're serious about your real estate investing journey. And I know all of you are, right? Put something in the chat there. Put a 5 in the chat if you're very serious about your real estate investing journey here, really taking it to the next level. Now, where you're gonna go to take advantage of this offer is wealthycall.com. Okay, wealthycall.com. And again, it's a 1K deposit today. It's a 10K product, and it's $8,000 if you pay in full today, right? We're also, for the first 5 people who do this today, I'm going to do a kickoff call with those 5 people. I'm going to do a kickoff for your coaching, for your year of coaching into the program, the wealth fund, all the stuff. Okay. I'm going to do a kickoff call for the first 5 people to take advantage of this. Okay. So again, think about this. You're going to get 2 VIP tickets to WealthCon, which is a $5,000 offer right there that you're getting. So you're basically getting, you're getting everything for free. Because when you think about the WealthCon tickets, the knowledge that you're going to get to go out there and build your real estate portfolio, flipping houses, whatever it is you're trying to do, and how much money you're going to make collaborating with other people doing it, this thing will pay itself over and over and over and over and over again. All right. So that's the offer that we have for you guys today. The first 5, I can't wait to get on a call with you. At some point in the next couple of days, maybe next week, we'll reach out to you and we'll put that together. And let's move it right on over to Q&A. Let's put in the comments, guys. Move it over to the StreamYard comments so I can see comments on all platforms, if you can. And let's move right over to Q&A. See what questions you guys have about either A, the program, B, real estate investing in general. And then I'll end today with what we're going to get into tomorrow. Because today we went over all the why you need to do it. Here's some stories. Here's some processes. But tomorrow we're going to go to the next step of this that you're not going to want to miss. Yeah, put in the chat if you guys are already in the program as well. As I said, I've been there for a little under a year, and I've literally doubled my portfolio just being around the energy, right? And I hope you guys can see how passionate I am about real estate investing for you to really think about this as an agent. This was big for me, and it's going to be massive for you. Is the offer the same as the All-Star program? Nope. This is a totally different program. This is called the Rookie. Okay, you mean to look here?
All right, so we'll do Q&A for a second.
Joined the program last
Let's
month.
see. So if you guys have questions about the program, ask them. If you have questions about real estate investing or just questions for Ricky, ask them away. But as far as the offer, so this is going to be for the rookie coaching program. So this is for people who are just starting off as real estate investors. Like you said, it's 12 months of coaching, plus the community, plus the scripts, plus everything that they've gone over already. This is what this is for. So any questions about the program, I'll answer. All other questions about real estate, we'll have Ricky answer.
The 1K.
So if you want to answer, what are some of the habits?
Yeah.
Or things?
John, so John asked, what are some of the habits or things that I'm doing that changed my life? I'm assuming that you're talking about once I joined Wealthy Investor, things that have changed my life. So what it did was it just opened my mind up to be a little more aggressive on the investing side. I always did it, but not to the level that I have since I've been around people who are actually doing it. So I never really had a strong group to really collaborate with like this. I've had mentors and I've hung around people who invest and I've done deals and everything, but nothing like this, nothing to this level, right? So I'm in there, Brian's in there, Ryan's in there. All the people that are within the community are there doing really big things. And there's people who are just starting out that are in there that are just absorbing so much information from the people who are actually doing it that's in there. And that's what the entire thing's about, right? To have people come in, elevate the people at the top because they're around other people at the top, but then elevate the people at the bottom because they're at the bottom and they're with people at the top. So everybody elevates. So to answer your question, it just made me more aggressive to build the portfolio.
Can you talk about like when you meet a seller that you think is a potential flip? Can you walk us through that process? Right up here, if you want.
Yeah.
So you go on a listing appointment. Let's say a seller, you walk into a listing appointment and the house is priced.
So
what do you do?
So like originally from the very beginning, okay, now this could go one of two ways. So I may have approached the seller and said, hey, I'm an agent, but I also may be interested in this myself. Okay? Or I may have entered into the situation and said, I'm an agent, would you consider selling, right? Approaching it strictly a real estate agent point of view. I may have done one of the two ways there. Either way it goes, okay? Even if I walk in and I'm just Ricky the agent, I'm walking in there and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, is this a good deal, right? Would this be a good deal for me? So I'm evaluating it as an investor, either way it goes. So when I'm walking in there, I'm trying to learn why they're selling, right? And when I learn the motivation of why they're selling, I start to understand, could this person be in a seriously distressed situation and be willing to take an offer today, right? An offer today for cash, an offer today, whatever, a lower offer. And there's been times where I actually made an offer right then and there and got it. So and there's been times where they say no. And then I list the property and sell it anyway.
Yep.
Right. So it just kind of depends on the situation, honestly. But you can approach it as an agent. You can approach it as, hey, I may be interested myself.
Yeah.
Right. And then understanding why they're trying to sell and trying to understand if there's a distressed opportunity, and then you just make an offer as if what you guys need to do is like pretend like there's an imaginary buyer there that has the same name as you and you're making an offer for them. Yep. Like it's the same process. Yep. You're just writing an offer except for you're signing your name as the buyer and the agent.
Yeah. So what I always say is most real estate agents, like myself in the beginning, they struggle putting their investor hat on because they've always been a realtor. So they walk in, they see a distressed property, and they immediately go, okay, I'm going to list this property. I'm going to make 2, 3, maybe 6%. I'm going to list it for this much. But what agents need to start doing is take their realtor hat off, put on their investor hat, and first try to buy that deal, right? So don't even think about listing it. Just talk to the seller about potentially you buying it. And I guess like for agents that don't feel comfortable doing that, or they feel like it's unethical, how do you make it a more ethical
It's unethical
process?
not to do it.
Okay.
Right? Because if the seller needs to sell this home, right? And you're going to go list it, which takes time, but you could have bought it yourself and got them out of that situation. See, guys, it's not all about price, right? Sometimes it's just not about price for the seller. A lot of times, and this is where agents get a little bit, off track here, is they think, oh God, if I'm not getting them the maximum amount of price, I'm not doing right by them. When in fact, to give them an offer that's lower just to get them out of the situation is helping them way more
Yep.
than going the real estate agent route. So you have to understand that and kind of get out of that. If I'm not selling it for the most money, it's the same thing when you're listing a property. Like a lot of agents want to list it higher because they don't want to, cut their seller short. I'm like, no, if they said they would take this, let's list it at that. If they say they'll take this and it's a good deal and you have the ability to buy it, then you buy it. Am I looking here?
Yeah. So I agree, and I think that's what I've noticed a lot of real estate agents get stuck on. And another thing that I've noticed real estate agents get stuck on is they don't understand financing for investors. So we're going to touch on that tomorrow. But what I've noticed, most real estate agents think that you need 20% down in order to buy a rental property or to buy a flip. And that's what got me stuck for a few years is I was like, I don't have 20% down. At the time when I first started thinking about it, I had $5,000. That is not enough to buy a property.
Yep.
But once I realized that there's creative ways to buy real estate, there's ways to partner, there's ways to raise money, then it opened up everything for me. But just that thought process had to switch. It took a while for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. Same here. I had to wrap my head around it.
Yeah. So like I know you're buying apartments and all this crap and $1 million deals. Are you coming to the table every time with 20% out of your own pocket?
No, no. So I'll raise money. Every deal I do, I put some of my money into it.
Yeah.
Right. So even if we do a big deal, we're syndicating all this stuff, I'm going to put some of my money in as well into those deals. I don't put all of it because I can go find partners and put the rest of it up. Right. Raising money, finding partners, creating a new LLC.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. So we can get into that tomorrow.
Yeah. And last part, let's touch on one deal.
Mm.
So most people are going to look at this, $10,000, $8,000, and they're like, holy crap, like that's a lot of money. I don't know. What if I invest that money into Zillow? Could I make a return on it? I know that's how people think. That's how I first started. When I first started investing in education, I was scared because I was like, dude, I could spend this money on marketing and potentially get one deal, and then I'll make more money than in this education. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about one deal. This is an education for a lifetime of deals, number one. But no, look at the value, right? You got $5,000 worth of tickets, 2 VIP tickets to WealthCon, number one, right? Which is just incredible. The energy, being around people who there were guys speaking that were flipping 1,000 houses a year.
Yeah.
Okay. There are people who have been in the game for 30, 40 years who have done, mind blowing, like the numbers.
Yep.
And then you've got everything from middle investors, you've got, smaller investors who have maybe done a few deals, and all the way down to people who have done none.
Yeah.
You got so many people to collaborate with just at WealthCon, right? Just for that part of it, not to mention the year being in the group and around everyone. No, this is for a life. You guys got to understand, like, this is for a lifetime of deals. This isn't, hopefully I get one deal off of a Facebook ad or Zillow or whatever the case may be. We want to help you build generational wealth. We don't want to help you learn how to get one lead. We want to help you learn how to fish, right? We want to teach you how to go out there, find the deals, fund the deals, and then decide what the end game is with the deal. Are we flipping it? Are we wholesaling it? Are we buying and holding for 5 to 10 years? Are we keeping it forever? Right?
Okay.
Are we keeping it forever? We don't. So that's what we want to teach you guys.
Yeah.
Is a lifetime of deals, not just marketing for a month.
Yeah. So I would like if the tech could take off the slide because that's all we can see right now. But
what I want you guys to understand too is it's going to be a process to learn how to transition, right? It doesn't happen overnight. For me, it took years of me thinking about it to actually doing it. So for me, I would think like, what color do I paint the house?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about houses. What what happens if the house burns down? What happens if my insurance lapses? What happens if a seller complains? What happens if I don't know, I lose money? And that got me stuck years in my head until finally I was like, you know what? If I don't do something, I'm going to be a realtor for the rest of my life, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with being a realtor, but you're not going to build wealth, right? You're not going to sell houses, enough houses to just magically build wealth. Eventually, you're going to have to start owning real estate, keep selling houses if you want to continue being a realtor, let your properties appreciate, take the tax benefits, and that's how you build wealth, right? I know when I was an agent, I would go to my broker and I'm like, hey, dude, like, I want to start, doing investing. And what the broker say?
No.
You
Call
don't want to do
expires.
that. You
Get
don't want to do that.
listings.
Call expires. Keep calling for sale by owners. Why? Because you're making them rich, right? When you start buying rental properties, your brokers don't make any money. That's the reason why they want you to stay on that trap, is because your brokers don't make money when you make money, right? They only make money when you do your open houses, when you do your expired listing calls, your for sale by owners, all that stuff. But what we want you to do is put yourself first, start thinking about the long game, right? Most real estate agents, they think year by year. They're like, last year I did 24 deals. Next year, hopefully I could do 50 deals. And then they get wrapped up in that system of trying to do an extra couple of deals a year, where the reality is, if you start flipping a couple of houses a year, your income could potentially go up with this same amount of deals, right? If you do 20 realtor deals and 5 flips, it's very possible you're going to make way more money than if you did 25 realtor deals. So that's what I want to leave you guys on. I understand there's a clock and this is about to end, but what I want you guys to know is tomorrow we're going to be going over funding. We're going to teach you how to buy properties yourself, how to find the funding, how to leverage other people to fund these deals, because that's another big part of investing that most people don't understand. They think that, oh, Ricky just has all the money. That's how he's able to buy these apartments, all these flips, and all this crap. But the reality is, he funds deals with other people's money, right? Especially if you're starting off with no money at all, it's going to be super important to learn how to start working with private money lenders, hard money lenders, and all that stuff. So, yeah. If you guys have questions,
don't-
question. Agent, I want to invest in rentals, but what do you do with night?
Okay.
Mhm.
Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, sure. So right now, like I told you guys in my part of the presentation, right? You heard that I'm buying new construction homes. Okay, why am I buying new construction homes right this second? I'll tell you why. Interest rates. So the builder, right? We go through their lender and they give us a 5.9% investment mortgage rate, right? Which is it makes all the difference when it comes to cash flow. So I'm not telling you to go out and buy new construction. I think that that's something maybe you should look into. But the point of what I'm trying to tell you is that there are opportunities out there. There are loan products out there that you can take advantage of. There are situations. It took me literally a couple of like the cash flow that I have on these new construction homes is what I've been looking for a long time, like a couple of years. I would look at property after property, older homes, commercial, stuff like that. And as far as the immediate cash on cash return, it just wasn't there like it is on these deals. And it's because of the mortgage rate. And what I'm telling you is I looked at a lot of deals and then boom, I found something. So you may look at deals and say, this doesn't pencil out. The numbers don't work here. Yeah, okay, move on to another one, right? And keep moving around. Also, go to lenders, go to a bunch of different lenders and say, hey, what products do you have that you can help me out on my mortgage rate? Also buy down. So the new construction homes, they're paying 5,000 of our closing costs. So get this, they're paying, we use their lender, so we have 5.9% interest. They're paying $5,000 in closing costs and buying our rate. Part of that was them buying our rate down. So not only did they give us a better mortgage rate off the top, but then they bought it down a little more as well. Those are all in. We're at like $1,700 a month, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and we're renting them for $2,500 to $2,700 a month. Like that's nearly $1,000 a month cash on cash return. So don't sit here and say, "Oh, if I want to buy a rental property, mortgage rates are so high, what do I do?" Get out there and find opportunities with lenders in your market or even outside of your market who have deals for people just like you who want to go out and buy rental properties and you want to find that cash flow. So don't cut yourself short and say, "Oh, we can't do it because interest rates are so high." That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yep. And then, so two things. One, there's creative financing. So we're going to also cover that tomorrow, where you actually take over someone's mortgage. So if someone has a 3% interest rate, there's ways to buy the property and assume their interest rate or put yourself on title. So we're going to go over creative financing later. But second thing I want to go over is the mindset of the interest rate, right? So when I first started flipping houses, do you know what the problem was? It was too competitive, right? And then the next year, the problem was COVID. And then the next problem was everything was going up. And then the next problem was there was high interest rates. So there's always going to be a reason why you can't do it, but we're going to teach you how to do it. But you need to get rid of that mindset of, hey, the interest rate's the problem, or my market's competitive, or I don't have the money. Like once you decide that you're not going to let that hold you back anymore, that's when everything starts to open up. Because like I said, I was stuck there for years where my broker was like, but these investors, they have these strategies and that's how they get all these deals and it's too much. Just stick to calling expired. So eventually you have to give up those beliefs, right? If you're not making what you want to be making, it's because you don't know something. So what you need to do is accept that there's something you don't know and then go out and find the answer. And maybe the answer is, hey, you need to buy a house with a high interest rate and then refinance later, which is what I'm doing, which is what most people are doing.
Yeah, and these new construction homes, like if it gets down lower and we look at it, we're like, "Oh, we could save $300 or $400 a month." Boom, we'll refinance.
Yeah, but you still got to get in.
Right.
You're never going to time the market perfect,
but now's a good time to try to time the market.
Yeah.
Right. Because prices are already leveling off and even coming down.
Yeah.
Right. Nationwide. And if you look in your specific market data, you'll see the same thing. Prices leveling off right now because they always do in the fall. I'm telling you, right this second is the moment to get in and start buying stuff.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining this live. And like I said, come back tomorrow at the same exact time, 9 a.m. Pacific. And we're going to teach you how to fund deals. Ricky's going to do Q&A. We're going to go over creative financing. We're going to go over a lot more. So thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
it.